There is going to be a Canadian election on April 28th, 2025. It is now April 9th, 2025. There are just 19 days to go. And I've been wanting to do something on the election. I keep pushing it off to the side. Well, it's going to take a lot of work to do it right. A lot of clips and making everything perfect like I usually do. This will not be perfect. I'm going to do like one take and I'm going to leave the mistakes in. The thing is, time is passing, and if I want to make some predictions, I'm just going to have to do it right now, and maybe I'll do one before election date, or maybe not. So, if you want some Canadian politics, here they are, and just a lot of talking. And if you don't, then get out now, because you won't like this one bit. Okay, from left, we've got Mark Carney of the Liberals. That's Pierre Poilievre. The next one off to the right for the Conservatives. And this guy, I gotta go get his name. Hang on. I'm gonna leave this in. Yves Francois Blanchet. And I know I should do a better job of saying that name. It's just I've only said it like twice. And that's a Bloc Québécois. And that's one more, the guy with the beard, Domik for the NDP, the New Democratic Party of Canada. And the last guy, I forgot to get his name. I don't even care. It's the Greens. Okay. So, now, here's my prediction. I can tell you about Elizabeth May of the Greens. All kinds of things. But you know what's weird about the Greens? Apparently, that guy on the far right is a co-leader with Elizabeth May, which is just strange. So, here's my prediction. The guy on the left, Mark Carney of the Liberals, is going to win. Because he's got the momentum behind him, and this is all just unscripted. I don't like him. Now, as soon as you bring politics into a channel, you start offending people, because you're never going to please everybody at the same time. So let me say before I criticize this guy, that there are some liberal things that I like. Okay? In Canada, we can go to the government dispensaries and get cannabis, heavily taxed. It may not be the best product. Thing is, I don't advocate for cannabis use because it can make existing affective disorders worse, and it makes you stupid if you have too much of it. And you're not going to change the world sitting around doing cannabis all the time. However, it's a whole lot cheaper for society to let people have it than to lock up everybody and then have to, feed them and guard them and all the rest of that stuff for the use of a plant. So, that's all I can speak to. There are other liberal things that I like. There's a lot of conservative things that I like too. So, I don't want to offend you. If you're a liberal, there are some liberal leaders and liberal things that I like. And now this guy Carney is a effing globalist, banker, elitist, that kind of scumbag, and he paints himself as being an outsider. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what the what. I'm just an outsider. I'm not part of this whole hierarchy. He is, deep into the hierarchy of things. He's the establishment. He's an elitist. Forget it. We don't even know his financial history. He's hiding it. I don't know why everybody is so afraid to talk the truth and say, allegedly. He didn't disclose everything, and now his vast empire... shoot, I just swore. I'll take that swear out. I'm going to take that out. His vast effing empire is in a blind trust or something, and now he pretends not to know anything about it. And he's not an outsider. He is an insider, big time. He has a momentum, and it's because, Trump is very smart. People take him to be a clown. He's acting for the best interest of the United States of America. With Trudeau having said that Canada will never be the 51st state, and with Carney having said Canada will never be the 51st state, both of these guys are evil in my book, and so they actually open up the door for Canada to become that. And I'll tell you why. Trump is in my opinion, bringing tariffs because Canada hasn't spent enough money on its border security, hasn't been spending enough money on its military for a long time. So there's also trade imbalances between the United States and other countries, and Trump is resetting those things. So, we don't like that. And we have this guy, Carney, who's gotten to become prime minister. Well, not elected yet, just through his own party because they hold power. And that's another thing. They prorogue Parliament so these turkeys could get their dang pensions. And Jasmeet Singh, the NDP leader, is one of them. So I'm starting to ramble on this guy. See, this is what happens when you're rushed. And now I'm on the stage and I'm not making too much sense. Yeah, it's going to be bad news. And oh yeah, Trump. So by creating this false sense of fear that Trump is going to take over Canada, which he's not going to do, he's creating a crisis through which the weakest schmuck in the bunch, Carney, is going to become prime minister. By doing so, it's actually going to weaken Canada. And here's where the 51st state comes in. You see the guy in the middle, Yves Blanchet, whatever? And I'm not being rude to him. I don't know much about his party because his party doesn't care about the rest of Canada. They only exist to have Quebec separate, or just for Quebec's interests. They only run candidates in their province of Quebec. And before I forget it, they made fun of Quebec separating at least once on The Simpsons. That's how stupid it is. So, okay, I gotta pause this for a second. I'm losing my train of thought. All right, so I'm back. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do retakes. I'm just gonna take pauses. So if we get, the worst of it should be Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative. That's, in my opinion, what we need right now. If for no other reason, if you're a Liberal, I don't want to offend you, the lefties, the NDP, the Liberals, and the Greens believe in censorship. And censorship is running rampant across Europe. And that's my main issue, right? Freedom of speech. And the lefties are pretending to be inclusive and welcoming to all opinions as long as they're opinions they agree with. You give them a chance and they'll shut down your freedom of speech. And that's the big issue for me. And again, I don't want to offend liberals because in Canada there are a lot of liberals. And, like I said earlier, I do agree with a lot of liberal ideas. So I don't want to be, appearing to be just, on one side of things. Politics can be anything. And I think it's sad that for the most part, Western civilization has been boiled down to just a two-party system, which is very limiting. It doesn't have to be that way. We know one of the two big shots is going to win. I mean, the Bloc, forget it. NDP, I'll get to him soon. The Green, yeah. So, if we get the worst leader possible that makes the country as weak as it can be, which is going to be Mark Carney, then Alberta, which is a Canadian province, which has been treated poorly by Ottawa for a long time, is going to get angry and going to feel like separating. And once they start to talk about separation even more, if the Liberals get in, that will light a fire under the butt of the Bloc Québécois, or just in the province of Quebec generally, to pursue separation too. So all of this is going to start falling apart, and it's got nothing to do with Trump. We were already becoming divided against ourselves with internal disputes before Trump, took power in the United States. So that's why I think, one of the reasons why Carney is the worst. And so here's the other guy, right off to the right, which is Pierre Poilievre. Okay, let me interrupt myself. There's a channel I go to, Over Opinionated with Jasmine Lane. She's Canadian, she's smart, sexy, funny, great channel. I agree with her most of the time. There's just one thing that I disagree on. She puts too much faith in Pierre Poilievre. So anyway, go to her channel. I comment there sometimes. So let's get back to Pierre Poilievre. He has been a career politician his whole effing life. As Maxime Bernier says, and I'll tell you about Maxime later, he's been part of the Ottawa swamp for, I think, around 20 years or so. I'm spoiling the quote from Maxime. Just took another break there. I'm still not redoing anything. What can I say? I don't trust him. I don't think he's strong enough. A difference between himself and Carney. I think he can't be trusted on immigration. And I'm not against immigration. You know, if people come here through the normal channels, we got far too many so-called students coming here, and Trudeau brought in far too many people far too fast, very reckless, and the arguments behind it are just silly. And in my opinion, I mean, if any of you who are watching this from the United States, like, enjoyed, like, millions and millions of unvetted illegal aliens pouring into your country, and it's like, oh, you like Donald Trump. I don't like everything that Trump's got to say, yet the idea of protecting your country from millions and millions of illegal immigrants, yeah, I think that's a good idea. And he was the only one that was offering it, and so good for him, at least for that. So I don't trust Pierre. Okay, I don't trust him. And he's been too close to the policies that he's allegedly against for too long before he was the leader of the whole darn party. And, you know, even other conservatives who support him conveniently forget that. So, yeah, still, he would be better. If I could choose and say if I had to choose somebody, yeah, I would still prefer Pierre over Mark. I should say Poilievre over Carney. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating for Carney to win. I don't want Carney to win. It's just I know enough about politics to know that the mainstream media is on the side of Carney. He has the momentum. There's a short time left. And this false threat that Trump is going to take over Canada is going to work for him. And he has, even though I believe him to be a self-serving piece of crap, he has a good personality for a prime minister. And the polls are also showing that he's the preferred personality to be prime minister over Poilievre. So I would like it if I would like it if Poilievre would win. So we're all on the side. Well, if you want him to win too, I just want you to know I would prefer for him to win. Yet in my book, he's not perfect, and I don't trust him. All right, so that is my prediction. Carney wins. Poilievre, I would like it if he could win. He's not going to lose by very much, and he's going to lose. And so let's talk about the Bloc Québécois. Did I already talk about him? Yeah, I did. Yeah, all they care about is Quebec. All right. So if you're watching this in the United States, here's a guy whose whole party is about Quebec first. Could you imagine if you had a state that all it did was care about itself, and that only ran candidates in that state? Like, I don't know of any American state that's like that. Like, we only care about ourselves, and you don't care about the being in the rest of the country. Only in Canada will we have that. Okay, now let's get to the NDP. Liberals, NDP, you know, they share a lot of ideas. And before I offend anybody, as far as offending anybody from the Bloc Québécois, yes, I hope you are offended. F off. Stupid party. Whole stupid idea. Quebec has gotten way too much for way too long anyway, alright? I mean, you're not France, for F's sake. What are you going to do with your pre-existing deals with the native peoples of Canada if you ever did separate? Then what happens to their rights? That's the one thing I'm glad I remembered in this. Like, if I had to write a script for this thing, it would take me hours and hours. It would have to be perfect, and then I'll get like 800 views for it. So, you know, if you like politics, you might like this. And if you don't like politics, I hope you turned off a long time ago. So, yeah, I hope you are offended. The Bloc Québécois, what a stupid idea. F off. For no other reason as that, what were they, what? The deals that the Aboriginal Native people of Canada already have with the country are what? Like, you know, thrown out the window because, you know, the Bloc Québécois thinks that they were here before the Native peoples of Canada? Stupid party. Alright, enough of that. Okay, NDP, that stands for the New Democratic Party of Canada. It's been like, what, 60 years or something? I don't even know. I don't even have time to do the fact-checking for how long the party... I think it's been around 60 years. Stop calling it the New Democratic Party. Maybe that would have worked, you know, in the first 5-10 years. Drop that N on the NDP. It's the New Democratic Party. Yes, we're running candidates again for the New Democratic... Stop it. Just call yourselves the Democratic Party of Canada. And that's Jasmeet Singh. And he's a terrible public speaker. Let me give you want a prediction? This man loses his seat. And he's one of the schmucks that benefited from the Liberals proroguing Parliament which is just a fancy word for just suspending Parliament while they figure out their to go get a leader, and which all could have done a lot faster. So he's got his dang pension. He's a lousy public speaker, crummy leader, even if you are an NDP fan. And before I offend anybody, the late Jack Layton really should have been prime minister for one term because he worked so hard for it. You know, it's just natural for the parties to change the seats of power every now and then. Liberal NDP, yeah, there are some differences. They're not my cup of tea. Yet, if there's anybody out there that likes the NDP, then I'd say that the late Jack Layton, the leader of the NDP back then, he deserved to have been Prime Minister of Canada for at least one term. And unfortunately, it did not happen. So this guy here, Jasmeet Singh, he won't even win his own seat. And he's such an unpopular leader that having him as leader in the NDP is ruining what support they do have. That's how bad he is, alright? Okay, and now we get to the Greens. Elizabeth May, who is, I guess, the co-leader of the party, was born and raised in the United States of America. She went to private schools, and she's more than a bit of a drunk. And why is everyone afraid to say allegedly? There's like video of her on the internet. Just do a search for Elizabeth May drunken rant. She went on and on. She was at some presentation, whatever she was doing. She was totally effing drunk. They had to have another woman come out there and pull her off the stage. And the Green Party, you know, it's great to be an environmentalist. Who doesn't believe in that? I just believe approaching environmentalism from the marketplace. Do you remember back in the day McDonald's had the styrofoam clamshells? You know, they mentioned them in that song, Dennis Leary song. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get myself a Cadillac and I'm gonna have those greaseball burgers with the old styrofoam containers and throw them out the side. So people just starve McDonald's for revenue, and they changed. And if there's a product that you don't like in the marketplace and you think it's not environmental, just stop buying it and wipe it out. So you can be an environmentalist without going to the Green Party. And I went to the Green Party's official website to try to read their platform. The graphics are set out like a cartoon, and you can't just download one simple PDF file of their platform for 2025. I know that in past years, they take orders from the United Nations, which is an unelected foreign body. When have you ever seen somebody in a little blue helmet come to your door and say, "Would you please vote for me?" I haven't read their platform because it's not accessible. They have chopped it up into little pieces, and it all looks like a cartoon. I just wanted one PDF download of their entire dang thing. So I'm rushed. Yeah, it is accessible. It's just I want it all in one block, not in a bunch of pieces. And their t-shirts, they say, are made in Canada. Yet their baseball caps, I did a search for Canada all over it. It doesn't say that they're made in Canada. So they're probably selling you Chinese-made baseball caps to promote the party. And that's another problem with the Greens, is that they want their idea to get across, which is, they're like far leftist, and they're all for censorship. And I got a clip of Elizabeth May ranting about disinformation, misinformation. She's really abrasive effing personality. And they're all in for censorship, and they want to take your guns away, and they take orders from the United Nations. There's very little to do with environmentalism, because we can all practice that without this Green Party. And I think that Elizabeth May is going to lose her seat. I'm just telling you what people are saying. She might be losing her seat in Saanich Gulf Islands. I am not predicting that she will. I'm predicting that Mark Carney wins, and I'm predicting that Jasmeen's seat doesn't even win his own seat. And so the Greens, what else can I say about them? You know why I feel that it's silly? Because in order to get their idea across, they use plastic signs, they use heavy stock, bleached white, glossy paper, metal buttons, all kinds of junk, and they're right in with everybody else for producing a ton of garbage and they make a mess during elections, just like all the other parties. And how do they get to their debates? How do they get out to the ridings? They use automobiles. They don't show up on a horse or a bicycle. So in order, they know they're not going to become the leading power in Canada for this election, yet they're still going to produce that mountain of crap for an election they know they're not going to win. So the environment is going to take a hit just to satisfy their whim to be part of the game. I shouldn't say whim, because everybody's got a whim or desire to win. So they want to win too, and they produce a mountain of garbage promotional materials just like everybody else does. And even though they know they won't win. So who cares? As long as they further their ideas, the environment can take a hit for it. So hypocrites, I'm not a fan of them. I'm a fan of environmentalism, not the Green Party, because there's too many leftist policies in their platform that they don't talk about. You just think you're voting for the nice people that care about plants, and there's a lot more to it than that. It's leftist. Let me take another break. So here is the candidate I should have talked about earlier. It's just I'm rushed. Okay, so my alternative to Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative Party Canada, here's my guy, Maxime Bernier, the People's Party of Canada. He's 62 years of age. He can run 12 miles in a day. He, at least as far as I know, fairly recently he would participate in Ironman competitions where you run and, swim. There's something else. I think you're on a bicycle. I don't know. I'm rushed. So he's 62 years of age. He's in tip-top physical shape. He used to be a Conservative member of Parliament. He had, I can't remember. He had, really significant cabinet position. He's worked in the private sector. Yeah? And remember, the Pierre Poilievre, his whole life has been as a pro-politician. So, Maxime Bernier, during COVID, the Trudeau government, in some ways, acted like a police state. And they brought powers to bear that they didn't have to. And that's a whole other, whole other subject. The thing is, those policies that were put in place, the mandates, I should say, are dangerous. And you want to know who challenged them in court? Maxime Bernier. He went to court over these mandates, and it was struck out of court because they said Trudeau withdrew the mandates after the COVID threat had lessened. It doesn't matter. The mandates should still be used again. So he appealed it to the Supreme Court, and he got screwed. You think that, that Western civilization, we have all this democracy and everybody's got a right to have their claims heard. He didn't have a right to have his claim heard. The stupid argument that the first court and the second court upheld was that because Trudeau withdrew the COVID mandates, I think you weren't allowed to travel and you had to have a COVID passport that proves you get all the shots. And see, here I am talking about this stuff, which is, it's just going to hurt the channel. I just want to talk about it the same. He challenged those things in court, and he never got a day in court. He was shut down by the first judge, says, because Trudeau withdrew the mandates, it's no longer in the public interest. Yet, all of us can understand here, I hope, that just because mandates that take away your liberty are withdrawn, that doesn't mean they can't be applied again. So he appeals it, and he still couldn't have it heard. That's why he's a hero, to me, for liberty. And nobody knows about him, they don't talk about him, and here he is. Oh yeah, he's not going to be included in the debates, right? And back in the day, the Green Party didn't have any MPs, they got 2. I'm pretty sure it's 2, I could be, it's 1 or 2. Watch me be wrong and they got 3 or something. It's 1, 2, or 3, I'm pretty sure it's 2. I am rushed. Elizabeth May threatened to sue if she wasn't allowed into the debates. And the mainstream media in Canada, just like the United States, is largely leftist. It's not like back in the 1930s where people would be afraid of a reporter wearing a fedora and carrying a pencil and a notepad and, hey, what's going on here? Yeah, all they want to do is dig up the truth, and you're afraid of them. Not now. And oh yeah, here's something else. In Canada, the CBC is subsidized by more than $1 billion a year. It's like a communist, media outlet, and they not to say that they haven't done great work. they have done great work, including a few co-productions with one of my heroes, Jim Henson. So they got there is some great work there. Yet overall, their argument that they need that money to protect our culture from the United States and other countries is silly, because anybody can get like a YouTube channel or even their own website and do what they want and get discovered. So nobody talks about So Maxime Bernier and the People's Party of Canada is not being allowed to the debates. And the last time they excluded him at the last election, they said, you don't have enough voters behind you. And now he does have enough voters behind him. He reached the percentage to be part of the debate. And guess what? For the 2025 election, the mainstream media all got together with this dang debate, and they changed the rules so he can't be part of it. And do you think that any of these jokers here are going to say, let's have a fair shake here? This guy used to be a member of parliament. He ran for the leadership of the Conservative Party. He lost by just a little bit. And he was beaten by a guy who is no longer the leader of the party because he lost the election that he ran in. And you think that these guys are going to say, let's be fair and inclusive. He met the guidelines last time. They don't care. So, so this would have been, and he's not perfect either, okay? So, and he's the strongest on immigration. That's another reason why I like him. And anybody that complains about too much immigration these days in the Western countries coming to them, it's like, oh, you're a racist. No, I'm not against immigration. It's just got to be slower and more carefully done. So Maxime would have taken care of the immigration problem of having too much too fast, and just a great guy for challenging those draconian style mandates. So that's it. That was good and boring, wasn't it, huh? So, I was gonna say, please give this a like. Probably lost 15 subscribers with it. Alright, one more time. Not that it needs to be said, I'm gonna say it anyway. Okay, let me see if I can finish this whole thing off at exactly 28 minutes, just to be silly about it. Mark Carney is going to win the 2025 Canadian election because the mainstream media is behind him, and he's fooled people into being afraid of Trump when Trump is not the threat. Canada falls apart from the inside thanks to the last, almost 10 years of Trudeau and our own stupid problems. And Jasmeet Singh loses his seat. And the same, hit the like button, please.